Hi, welcome to Sociological Lens. I am Dr. Dilsora Fozilova. Today's class, we will be talking about technology in media and how that affect or influence social change. So we'll be talking about innovation of technologies and the development of human civilization. We will be talking about some of the sociological theories that frame media and technology. So to start with, how can we define technology? Sometimes I ask my classes, what is the definition of technology? And even it's such a common sense, my students struggle to define technology. So in sociology, technology is defined as the tools, systems, and techniques that societies develop and use to share their material and social environments. It is not just about machines or digital innovations, but includes knowledge, practices, and institutions that influence how humans interact with each other and with their surroundings. One of the definitions I like comes from Journal of Society for Philosophy and Technology by Bunge 1966. It says technology encompasses the application of scientific knowledge and engineering principles to create tools, machines, and systems that address human needs and challenges. So this definition covers all parts. It is like scientific knowledge and engineering, and that creates tools, machine systems to address human needs. That's a very important part of it. So the key aspects of technology in sociology is the material artifacts and tools, that's physical objects like machinery, computers in transportation systems. Knowledge and techniques are like scientific knowledge, engineering methods, and skills required to create and use tools. And social organization part is the institutions and systems that govern how technology is developed, distributed, and regulated. For example, policies, economic systems, and so on. And of course, technologies have cultural meaning. The ways technology affects values, beliefs in daily life. For example, how social media changes communication norms in society. So we always take a look at the main sociological theories, how they define or frame certain concepts. In this case, functionalism. Functionalism, technology drives social process and efficiency. For example, industrialization leading to economic growth. For conflict theory, technology is shaped by power struggles, often benefiting the wealthy while marginalizing others, like automation replacing workers. Symbolic interactionism, on the other hand, looks at technology influences social interactions in identity, like smartphones changing how we form relationships and so on. So second one is media. How do we define media? In sociology, media refers to the various channels of communication that transmit information, culture, and social norms to individuals and groups. Media plays a crucial role in shaping public opinion, influencing social behavior, and maintaining or challenging power structures. It includes traditional forms like newspapers, radio, and television, and new digital platforms like social media, websites, streaming services, and so on. So one of the definitions I like comes from McQuell's mass communication theory. So McQuell 2010 says media refers to the channels, platforms, or vehicles used to transmit information, ideas and messages to a large audience. It includes various forms such as print, broadcast, digital, and social media. So the key aspects of media in sociology is forms of media, for example, mass media, newspaper, TV, radio, books, magazines, digital media, social media, blogs, online news, podcasts, for example, and interpersonal media is one-on-one communication through phone, messaging apps, and emails. There are many different functions of media in society, and one of them is information and news dissemination, which is spreading knowledge and awareness. The second one is socialization and cultural transmission, which is like teaching societal values and norms through media. Also, media serves as a surveillance and control, monitoring events and influencing public perception. Media also has a role as a surveillance and control, entertainment and leisure, providing enjoyment and escapism, on the other hand. So, what does sociological theory say about media? So, functionalism says media helps maintaining social stability by reinforcing shared norms and values. Conflict theory says that media is controlled by elites and used to reinforce power and inequality in society. A symbolic interactionism looks at media as influencing identity and perception through symbols, images, and narratives. So, evolution of technology and media took a different turn. Let's start with evolution of technology and its effects on social change. Technology has been a driving force behind social change, transforming the way societies function, interact, and organize themselves. As technology evolves, it influences economic structures, cultural practices, communication, and power dynamics. And some of the changes we will go through. The first of all, I have a video here that talks about evolution of technology. This is very good way of just kind of like a, kind of crash coursing your evolution of technology over time. And the main idea behind this is technology has played a significant part in the formation of the world as we know it today, beginning with the creation of relatively basic instruments such as wheels, fire, stone axes, and processing to the development of very sophisticated systems such as computers and internets and all other things in our society today. So let's start with pre-industrial societies. And this is another quick visual to see how it started. Like you can see, like the change was very slow. And then all of a sudden, there's so many innovations in our time. Started with the fire and bow and wheel that changed the whole idea of how society is lived. Like, for example, only the creation of wheel led to, increased transportation and people started to exchange goods and services. They started to travel. They started to build roads and bridges and architecture and only writing right here in 2000 BC changed whole idea of how information could be disseminated and how people could write down the stuff and then pass this to next generations, how knowledge start to, the pass from one generation to another generation. There was so much came from this small changes in society. Then watermill and gunpowder just started, society started to feel powerful. Then there was certain wars started. And I mean, this all of them led to the evolution of societies. And printing press was a very, very important change in the history of societies. Optical lens, like the creation of optical lens, changed the whole idea about how the cells work. For example, the stuff we couldn't see before, now we could see them, observe them. And biology, chemistry, all these sciences, medicine start to evolve and advance because of this optical lenses. And then of course that we went to from steam engine to telegraph to plastics and airplane and fusion power, space flight, internet, and mobile technologies and other stuff. AI probably our latest creation. So societies took a long way to get here, and every creation of technology changed society hugely. So let's start with pre-industrial societies. So in the pre-industrial societies, people start to develop simple tools like stone tools, fire, and wheels. And then there was agricultural revolution in 10,000 BCE, which is domestication of plants and animals. We start to use simple tools to, just domesticate animals and raise plants and, irrigation systems, plows and metal tools. So there were so many important parts of this technology's effect on a social change. It shifted from nomadic to settled societies. Humans transitioned from hunting gathering to farming, leading to permanent settlements. And then also the rise of social hierarchies emerged. Agriculture led to food surpluses. For the first time in the human history, people had some extra food and resources so people can work in different areas. Like, for example, they could be scholars and they could be artists and do other things without worrying to feed themselves. There was a surplus of food for them in society, so they could involve themselves in the creative work. So also, um, this affected formation of early civilizations, growth of cities, governance systems, and organized religion. And then industrial revolution started. And industrial revolution, oh, actually, that in between there was a evolution of printing press, which was very, very important part in the evolution of societies in 1440s that increased the dissemination of information. I actually went to the pressing, oh, that printing place in Edmonton. So where I was taking Shakespeare class, and our professor took us to printing the place. And it was old, and I could see all of these small letters you could put together to print a newspaper. As a class, we organized one Shakespearean, four lions and our names in the corners so we could print them. And each of us had one piece of very thick paper brought home, and I still have it after, I don't know what year, after 15 years actually. So the development of printing press is attributed to Gutenberg in mid 15th century, around 1440s. He was a German inventor and printer, introduced movable type printing in Europe. His innovation involved using individual metal letters and could be rearranged and reused, making the printing process more efficient. So once you put all of these things together, one page of newspaper, then it takes forever to do that, because every word, for example, if you want to write mother, so you would find M and then O and then TH, ER, and put them together, and then you will put a space, and then you will go to the next word, and then you have to, find all the same sizes, except if you want to write the title in a bigger letters. So it was a process. Once you do that, then you could print thousands or how many copies you wanted. So then there was agricultural revolution. I'm still here. Not industrial revolution. It was like 1750s, 900s, and it was mechanization and urbanization, and there was all kinds of technological advancements. There was steam engines and mechanized factories and railways and telegraphs and mass production in industrial machines. And this industrial revolution affected social change hugely. And now you already know about the changes from other classes. The first of all, urbanization and migration affected people. Like people started to move from rural areas to cities for factory jobs and changing family structures. Before, people lived in traditional families. That traditional families means they mother, father, their children live with the father's or mother's family, and there was uncles and aunties, and other words we use for that in sociology is extended families. So 20, 30 people lived in one home. So they worked together, they did the stuff together. Children's education and socialization was everybody's job. The families were tighter. And then, because of this industrial revolution and the advancement of this technologies, the family structure started to change. Because families couldn't move all these family members to from villages to cities, they start to break down to nuclear families like mom, dad, and children, and they moved to cities to start working in industries. So therefore, industrial revolution changed the family structure. This is one of the many changes happens because of this industrial revolution. Another one can be labor and class struggles, rise of working class, poor working conditions, and labor movements changed society hugely. There was Karl Marx talks about class inequality and how that emerged because of the industrial revolution. And then there is rationalization in all different kinds of changes. Another change is education and literacy expansion. Because of the need for skilled workers led to the spread of formal education. Now people start to study to become a specific person to deliver specific kinds of services. And we know now that after industrial revolution, everything was specialized. That, even medicine, for example, before one doctor did all kinds of services for sick people. Now there was a doctor for cardiology, doctor for nerve systems, doctor for ears and nose and liver, and like every organ in human body, or every illness out there had its own specialized expert. So that was also came from the advancement of technologies. So some of the downside, always we have to mention that the social inequalities worsened because of this technological evolution. exploitation of workers and gender disparities in labor markets start to grow, and that led to inequalities, worsened inequalities in society. And then 20th century came with the digital and information age. There was all kinds of technological advancements, including electricity, automobile industries, airplanes, computers and telecommunications, internet, personal computers and digital communication, emails, social media, and so on, and how that affected social change. Globalization and instant communication led to the internet to connect people across the world, increasing cultural exchange. Also, transformation of work and economy, rise of services like service economies and digital jobs and the gig economy led to huge changes in our societies. Also, political and social movements. Social media um, facilitated activism, for example, Arab Spring, and then Me Too movement, and then Black Lives Matter movement. There are some of the um, disadvantages of digital and information age. I mean, there is like, if you keep getting deeper into it, you will see way more. And the surface level introductory sociology, I'll just mention a couple of them. There was a digital divide, unequal access to technology created disparities in education and economic opportunities. And another one is the surveillance and privacy issues. Governments and big corporations monitor online activities, raising concerns about individual freedoms. And emerging technologies in 21st century, that some of them is artificial intelligence, automation, blockchain, quantum computing, biotechnology, genetic engineering, and robotics is the latest advancements in the 21st century. Some of the effects to social change can be automation and future of work. We start to worry about the future of work because first automation took a lot of jobs from people and then started to serve this wealthy class, and now AI and robotics may replace traditional jobs but create new industries. And another effect on social change can be healthcare system and life expectancy. Advanced in medical technology improve health outcomes and longevity in society, so people start to live longer than before. First it was like people lived until 60s and then 70s. Now they're living hundreds. I know actually a few people in my life, they live at more than 100 recently. Some of the downfalls that ethical and existential risks to society, AI bias, cyber security threats, and concerns over job displacement can be some of the risks. Or I would say like we live in a reflexive society. We reflect on everything happening, and we try to see that risks involved with them. In short, technology continues to reshape societies, influencing everything from economic structures to cultural norms and personal identities. While technological process brings innovation and opportunities, it also introduces new social challenges, inequalities, and ethical dilemmas. So that is a little bit about technology and social change. So how now, what this engagement or marriage of technology and media brought to society. The connection between technology and media influencing human culture is intricate and dynamic. Technology serves as a catalyst for advancement in media, shaping how information is created, disseminated, and consumed. There is media evolution, cultural globalization, social connectivity, cultural representation. This all parts is comes from this the engagement of technology and media. Media plays a powerful role in shaping social institutions such as politics, family, and education by influencing public opinion, social norms, in knowledge or knowledge transmission. As media evolves from newspapers and radio to television and internet and social media, its impact on these institutions becomes more profound. And some of the um, analysis of media in politics, for example, when did media become a significant player in the evolution of technology? Media is a key agent of political communication, shaping governance, public opinion, electoral outcomes. It influences public opinion in political behavior. So, news media, for example, TV, online news, social media, shapes public perception of political events. Selective reporting and framing influence how issues are perceived. For example, media bias and propaganda. What kind of information being disseminated and what kind of information is staying out of touch or not being spread in society. That is the control powerful people have over society. Social media platforms allow for direct interaction between politicians and citizens, bypassing traditional media gatekeepers. Also, it affects political polarization and misinformation. There are echo chambers in social media and filter bubbles. People consume news that aligns with their existing beliefs, reinforcing political divisions. Also, people create their own communities that some of the some ideas are echoed in that echo chambers. So, for example, if that's something extreme thought, the extremism and terrorism studies says that echo chambers increase that echo of this information, and there's all like-minded people support that. More they support algorithms in media, kind of augments it, like makes it big and huge and spreads to the world very fast. So another one is media as a tool for political mobilization. For example, grassroots movements. Activism spreads through digital media very fast, like Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter or Arab Spring was spread through media. Online political campaigns, like politicians use social media for water engagement, fundraising, and propaganda can be some of them. Some of the positive effects on social change can be increases political awareness and engagement, promotes transparency and accountability. Some of the negative effects of it can be increases political polarization. It can manipulate to spread and misinformation and propaganda. Um, there is a difference between old media and news media. I just want to mention that one of the biggest differences between this old media and new media is old media was one way straight. Like the people or the corporations, that news agencies spread information and people consume that. Now, in our time, we can interact with that information, we can create information ourselves, we are content creators ourselves, posting on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere else. You're basically creating content every day. That is the difference between old media and new media. Also, I wanted to talk about the media's influence or effect on family and education. For example, media is central to knowledge dissemination or creation, transforming how education is delivered and accessed. I myself teach in overseas. Having this Zoom and other platforms allows me to interact with my students and deliver my lectures through media, social media platforms. Also, there's expansion of online courses, e-learning platforms, virtual classrooms. It increases access to education, especially in remote areas. The social media became as an educational tool, that like YouTube tutorials, educational podcasts, and so on. Um, some of the challenges of media in education can be not all students have equal access to technology, which just leads to digital divide. Also, there is misinformation, and media literacy is very important. Students must navigate false information online. It can also increase distraction and reduces attention spans. Like social media entertainment compete with academic focus. So those are some of the effects of social media. And to summarize this, media has transformed politics, family life, and education, offering both opportunities and challenges. As we're talking about the technology and media's role in social change, this is very important. While it enhances communication, access to information, and political engagement, it also raises concerns about polarization, misinformation, and social isolation. So, what is mass media theory? So, mass media theory is not one theory. Mass media theory examines how media shapes societies, influence individuals, and interact with power structures. It explores media's role in communication, culture, socialization, and political control. Different theoretical approaches will explain or provide insights into how media operates and affects audiences. So early theories of mass media was hypodermic needle theory, like magic bullet theory. It also called. It was 1920s, 30s mass media theory. It suggested media has direct, powerful, and immediate effect on audiences. Audiences are seen as passive and easily influenced, like for example propaganda in Nazi Germany, that people only consumed whatever was available for them. Another example can be war on the world's radio broadcast 1938 caused mass panic in society. And there was another mass media theory in 1940s that called two-step flow theory, that talks about media, how media effects are not direct but filtered through opinion leaders who influence the public. For example, political influencers or celebrities shaping public opinion. So basically, that information is not neutral. It is going through these filters by this influential people, and sorting out what information they want to disseminate, right? And there was another one in 1950s and 60s. That theory says that called uses and gratification theory. It says people actively choose media based on their needs, like entertainment, information, or social interaction. For example, if you don't like news and you only like music channels, you have choice. You can only watch entertainment and music. You don't have to watch, um, let's say, political debates or any other things. And some people only might watch sports. So this theory says that we will choose what we want to consume. Um, this theory basically highlights that audience agency is emphasized rather than passive consumption. So more and more we can see like agency is, creeping into mass media theory. Um, in 1970s, there was an agenda setting theory, which we still use widely in sociology. Agenda setting theory says media doesn't tell people what to think, but what to think about by highlighting certain issues. If there is a certain communication going on in television or radio, it doesn't tell you what to think, but it just seeds the little things in your brain, and your brain constantly, kind of think about that things, the issues, or whatever it is. For example, news coverage of crime can create moral panic about safety without you intentionally doing something about that. Also, there is a framing theory. Framing theory says that mass media presents information in a specific frame that influences audience interpretation. I think I might have that. Oh, no, I don't. It presents some sort of frame, and that influences audience interpretation. The example can be political protests framed as riots versus civil rights movements. And there's another important one is cultivation theory. Cultivation theory says the long-term exposure to media, especially TV, shapes perceptions of reality. And I always tell in my classes that the identity is very fluid. Like whatever you watch or the classes you attend, books you read, kind of like a little puzzle in your identity. They shape who you are. Either you agree with them or disagree with them. It shapes your perception, it shapes your understanding of the world. Therefore, anything you do, any person you interact with, any activities you attend to, any books you read will change you in some ways. That cultivation theory is basically saying that. Political economy theory, I'm talking about too many theories to make you understand that all these theories together kind of tells us mass media's effect in society. Political economy theory, um, economy of media theory, it's Marxist perspective. It examines how media ownership and capitalism shape media content. Media serves the interests of the ruling class and promotes ideological control. And you can see in our world that whoever has the money, whoever has the big corporations have more power over what we watch on news and media. So hegemony in media, it's coming from Gramsci in 1980s. Media reinforces dominant ideologies and maintain social control. For example, gender roles in um, advertising reinforce patriarchal norms in society. Some of the contemporary mass media, there's three of them here. cultural imperialism theory, cultivation theory, and agenda setting theory. Some of the contemporary theories of mass media can be encoding, decoding model that's coming from Stuart Hall in 1980s. And it says like audiences interpret media messages differently based on their social and cultural background. For example, dominant reading accepts intended messages. Um, Sometimes people partially agrees, partially resists, or another one is people can reject intended message. So there's so many more. There's postmodern media theory, network society theory in 1990s and 2000s, which says digital media and internet decentralize power, allowing grassroots movements to emerge. And yeah, those are some of the theories explains what mass media theory is and how media influences society. Mass media shapes political, cultural, and economic structures by influencing public perception, reinforcing power, or enabling social change. Theories of mass media help us understand the complex relationship between media, audience, and society. And there was I wanted to talk a little bit about moral panic theory, which is very, very important when it comes to media. Moral panic theory examines how societies react to perceived threats, often exaggerated by mass media, politicians, and moral entrepreneurs. It describes a situation where a group, behavior, or event is framed as a danger to social norms and values, leading to fear, hostility, and calls for regulation or punishment. And the moral panic theory started with Stanley Cohen's introduction of Folk Davis and moral panic in 1972. Cohen introduced the concept in his study of mods and rockers to youth subcultures in 1960s in Britain. He showed how media sensationalization, their minor conflicts, turning them into a major societal threat. Key features of Cohen's theory is concern that public anxiety over the perceived idea, and then hostility. The group is labeled as a threat to society, or some event or something is labeled as a threat to society. For example, for him, it was folk devils, and consensus that authorities, media, and public agree that threat is serious. And disproportionality means the reaction is exaggerated compared and to the actual threat. And he always also talks about volatility, which is the panic fades, but can return in different forms in society. So there is a few things I thought very interesting. I found them very interesting. So in 1868, there was article about this cheap publications in society because they had this superpowers or this all different kinds of characters. There was a panic about them. And the article says that that's by John Hubbard, 1868. Juvenile criminality, excuse me, largely attributable to the spread of cheap publications and theatrical representation of an existing and immoral character which corrupt the children of lower classes and stimulate them into courses of dishonesty and vice. So basically, these cheap publications and all these characters in them seems like we have all over society today, that's leading to criminality or dishonesty and between children. And there was in moral panic in 1930s and 40s was about radio. And that time radio just newly came out. There was a there was an article in the American Journal of Psychiatry in 1936. It says parents have become aware of a puzzling change in the behavior pattern of their children. They cannot lock out this intruder because it has gained an invisible hold on their children. That's like a radio addiction. It's the moral panic about radio addiction. And then there's a moral panic of telephone addiction. Now you can see that, thing is the technologies that is very simple today was a moral panic when they came out first. So there was various um, publications publications about phone addiction. There was telephone addiction, 1894, and there was phone addiction, and in the Reading Eagle, 1958, and U.S. becoming addicted to telephone chatter, 1989 in New York Times. One of them says one of the most serious unreported disabling antisocial diseases in America today is that of a phone addiction. So people are talking to their mother-in-laws, women are talking to their mother-in-laws for a long time, I guess. Interesting. So in our times, of course, we have panics about smartphones, and there are a few articles I could see that how smartphones destroyed generations, and that is in Atlantic 2017. And there was another article, how screens turn kids into psychotic junkies. So, I thought about that, and first I thought this picture describes us best. And then I thought maybe this one is better. We are turning to psychotic junkies or zombies in our time. So, so this is our short lecture on technology in media and its effect on social change. And that I didn't even summarize the moral panic. Moral panic shape public opinion and policy, often benefiting those in power. Understanding them helps reveal biases, prevent misinformation, and challenge fear-based narratives. And overall, this class is about how technologies change or affect social change. As we looked at all this agricultural revolution, how what kind of changes it brought to society, and we moved from one kind of living to nomadic, to different kinds of livings, and then industrial revolution, people start to move from villages to cities, and there was a change in education, there was change in politics, there was change in family structures, healthcare, in every social institution possible. And then in our information age, every time we got one type of technology developed or advanced, it brought a lot of changes in our society, in our globalization, and everything is kind of goes around this technological and media changes today. And I hope you liked this short video lecture, and I will see you in our next classes. Have a great day.